Hello, everyone. This is Will.
And this is Alex.
Welcome back to another episode of They Mostly Come Out at Night.
Mostly.
Oh, man. Can I just say first, I'm sorry that we haven't recorded in a minute. I've been feeling a little under the weather, and the holidays have been kind of crazy. So I just wanted to say it's my fault that we haven't been recording.
It's all
so
good,
I'm
though,
very
'cause
sorry.
The holidays are over.
Yep.
So, your happiness and festivities are ended.
Yep. And
It's
now
over.
we're back into the podcast.
Now it's back to reality.
Exactly.
The real world.
And wow, what a way to start.
This was great.
I actually liked this movie, which was crazy.
I love this movie.
I do too.
I could own this movie.
So, like, you always talk about, like, the movies you live for
Yeah.
these, like, podcasts and stuff like that. These are the kind of movies I like seeing in the podcast.
I didn't know I needed this movie. I didn't know I needed this movie until we saw it.
Yeah.
But when we saw it, it was like, wow, I've been waiting for this movie, and someone made this.
Well, like, when you first explained it to me, because this is if you remember when we
Snuff.
well,
We did Snuff, and it was either going to be... Oh, no, not Snuff.
no, so the...
Criminally Insane.
Criminally Insane.
Yeah.
So you gave me a choice between this movie and Criminally Insane, and I was going to choose this movie, but I chose Criminally Insane
Because
after
you read the plot.
After you told me what the plot was.
Yeah.
So I wish I had chosen this movie, but actually it makes it better that we had to wait to see it, because then we would never have gotten to see... Well, no. We would have had to see Criminally Insane after this movie, which would have been horrible.
I don't know. I mean, Criminally Insane is okay. It's not bad, but this is the better movie. This is 100% better movie.
Oh, yeah.
This is a special movie, put it that way. I don't know why it's so low rated, but the movie we watched today was Psychic Killer.
Or the Curlian Force.
The Curlian Force.
The Curlian Force, like it sounds like an episode of Star Trek.
That's what I thought. I was like, this is
the
a Star Trek
Curlian Force.
Yeah, but no. It's Psychic Killer. Every poster has Psychic Killer. On IMDb, it's Psychic Killer. Curlian Force.
It doesn't say Psychic Killer in the movie.
The credits say Curlian Force.
Yes.
But that's bullshit.
It is bullshit because they don't ever even mention that name.
The fucking movie is Psychic Killer. Anything else is fake.
Fake news.
Fake news. Curlian Force is a false prophet.
It's true.
Okay, the real prophet is Psychic Killer.
So, this movie is actually pretty damn good.
I love this movie.
I will admit, like, I was really... I wasn't... So, I like the idea of a psychic killer. I like anything supernatural, stuff like that. So, I was already intrigued by this movie, and I was wondering how they were going to handle it. This being a B-movie, horror podcast, I was, like, expecting some
nonsense?
Yeah, I thought I would hate it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting some just ridiculous shit that I was not even into at all. But I actually changed my mind. This movie... This
is
gets
great.
it. It's good.
You want to hear something crazy? This is rated PG.
That's crazy, because there's nudity in it.
There's nudity and blood.
Like, lots of blood.
A man sticks his hand into a meat grinder.
And gets decapitated. And then... Like...
PG. Okay.
Wow, okay. They had low standards for
let me tell
ratings.
you, this movie is fun for the whole family.
I would not show this to little kids.
I would. I think I would enjoy this quite a bit if I watched this as a little kid, to be honest. I think this would be a lot of fun. The whole idea of it, I think it's quite fun. But, the idea doesn't matter, because we've seen movies that have good ideas and turn out shit.
Right.
So this, well, it's the little movie that could.
Sorry, excuse me. So, I guess we should jump into it and just get into the movie review, because I want to, like, say why I like this movie so much at the end.
Likewise.
So we get all these, like, weird stills of these
It
organisms.
starts with a quote. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Starts with like a quote about science and how there's still things that we have not yet discovered.
Right.
And it's some sort of professor. And then it gets into these credits, and it's like these close-ups of these like something
glowing organisms,
Yeah.
and they change, and the music tone changes into something horrific, and it's like, you know, it just showing all the actors and stuff.
Mhm.
So then we get a shot of a guy and just like
freaking the fuck out.
he's just yelling for no reason at like different like patients
Yeah.
in like a psych ward.
Starts fighting people and tries to escape, freaks the fuck out, like knocks people over.
So then the guards come in and like kind of like detain him and like take him away, and like they're carrying him through this hallway. They put him on a gurney. A nurse like sedates him like with a heavy sedative, but he doesn't go to sleep.
And they stick him into the padded room.
They confine him into a padded cell
Yeah.
where he just like goes ballistic.
Yeah, and essentially you find out that... Is this when we find out more about who he is?
So this is where...
Oh no,
so
he
he's
tells that
kinda-
later.
Well, no, he's getting transferred to like a different ward.
Basically...
And the doctor is talking to him about like... And he's like, oh, I didn't kill anyone. I didn't like...
Well, the doctor wants... She thinks she can help him, and she wants him transferred to, like, the normal unit.
Right.
The normal, like, psych ward or whatever. But instead, because of his freak out, he's getting transferred to, like, where the real crazies are.
Yeah.
And he walks in there, and everyone's just, like, saying crazy stuff, and it's all crazy. The camera's all crazy.
Yeah, and then he sees this one guy not freaking out at all.
Just, like, staring
So he's
at
like
a train.
instantly wants to go talk to this
Yeah.
guy. So he talks to this guy, and the guy's like, I'm waiting for a train. It always comes. And he's like, oh, well, you can only rely on trains. And then the guy is like, he's like, well, I killed my daughter
Because she was a
because
whore.
she was a whore. And then he's like, oh, I didn't kill anyone. I was framed.
And he tells this story about how his mom had to have an operation. She had a tumor, and he didn't have health insurance. They didn't have any money, so he was trying to get this doctor to work on her. He wouldn't. He refused. And he argued with the doctor, yelled at him, and essentially he says that he yelled at the doctor, left the room, and when he came back, the doctor was dead.
And he had like blood on his hands for some reason.
And he said that he got some of the blood on his own hands because he touched like a scalpel.
Yeah.
And because of that, they automatically assumed the cops that he was the one who killed him. And that's how he is there.
Yep. So they keep talking, and the guy's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna kill my daughter's
The pimp.
the pimp who made my daughter a whore tonight, and then I'll help you find justice."
And then after I'm done, I'll help you find justice. And he's just like skeptical, but he's like, okay.
So then we get a scene of Arnold in his cell, and he's like trying to talk to Jerome.
Emilio.
That's right.
And he's trying to talk to him, and Emilio is
Emilio's like getting like this weird headache and wearing this medallion.
he's looking at a medallion.
Oh, that's right.
He's
And
holding it.
he's like going into like a trance state.
And he's just like sweating like crazy and like mumbling and shaking.
And all the while the guy's like, Emilio.
All I could think was what incarnation. But then it's the next day.
And who do you think that was? Emilio Estevez.
Surprise!
Mighty Duck Man, I swear to God. I was like, Emilio!
Emilio! I love
Sorry.
Mighty Ducks.
I just had to
Mighty Ducks.
So
The next day they're walking around.
They're walking around, and Emilio's talking.
And he's like, I did it.
He's like, I did it. I made him
I carved my name into his chest and I slit his throat.
And then
Now I'll
he's
help
like,
you.
Well, and then he's like, oh, and I tried to talk to my doctor, and there's only one thing he didn't give me. And like the guy's like, what's that? He's like, my last rites. And then he goes up and like just runs up to the fence and like
climbs over the barbed wire like fence and turns into a dummy.
A ragdoll dummy.
And turns into a ragdoll dummy.
And jumps off the...
And the ragdoll dummy falls and hits the ground. I love dummy shots.
I can't get enough of them.
I love
They're
them.
great.
The saddest thing about
They look
CGI...
so
The
ridiculous.
saddest thing about the advent of CGI is no more dummies.
No more dummies. They're out of commission, man.
No more dummy shots.
And it looks so great.
It's so great. It
Like,
just...
because you know it's a dummy.
adds.
It's such...
It's just still...
It's so ridiculous, but I love it.
The best part is that, you know, they dress it up to look like the actor.
like the actor.
They gave him an afro, like the actor, and they just threw him off the building.
I love how they're so stiff, but they just like ragdoll while they're going
Yeah,
down.
it's beautiful.
It's hilarious.
And, you know, but he told him right before he would jump, they're like, he'll help him now.
So then, the one of the orderlies brings
like-
a bunch of stuff to
Oh, yeah.
Arnold's cell.
He's like, Emilio wanted you to have his stuff.
He also wanted me to read this, and it's a newspaper clipping of like a local pimp that got something carved into his chest.
He said his chest was mutilated and he had his throat slit.
Yeah, he had his throat slit. Just like Emilio said.
And he knows. He knows right away this is like the business. So he opens up Emilio's stash
Finds the talisman.
and immediately starts, he like puts it on and starts giving himself a headache. Is the best way I can explain
And then
it.
he kind of dies, I guess. So
So
the doctor comes in
Yeah.
and like he can't read a pulse or anything, so they pronounce him dead. And so they take him to get an autopsy, and they're like wondering why he's dead. And then as soon as the guy goes into like with the scalpel, Arnold wakes up and freaks the fuck out.
and bitch slaps him. Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, he just immediately wakes up and bitch slaps him, and then like it immediately cuts to like this guy in an office. And he's
the
like,
director of the institution.
he's like, how the hell did you try to perform an autopsy on a live man?
He's like so angry that they tried to try and perform an autopsy on a man that's alive.
Oh, by the way,
And he's talking to Arnold's doctor.
By the way, before we get, it's worth mentioning that earlier when he was talking to Emilio, he did mention that his mother ended up dying anyways.
Yeah.
Because the nurse that was supposed to look after her
Neglected.
did not.
I mean, there's something more extreme going on, but
Well,
we'll get to that.
the nurse has other things to do.
Oh.
Okay?
And what she did to the mom is
If that's what happened, that's the greatest thing ever.
Insane.
That's the greatest thing ever. But yeah, they
So he
bring him in and they tell him that someone confessed.
Yep, because that's when he did his psychic shit.
Yep. Someone magically, out of nowhere, confessed to the crime of killing the doctor.
Yep.
And they release him. But I just want to mention that there's a lot of these moments in the movie when something will happen and then it cuts and then the next scene is comedic.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's always great.
So I think they also kind of released him because they fucked up a lot.
Yeah. And they were trying to save
Their skin.
yeah, because they were also mentioning they happen anyways, but they were freaking out because what if they immediately pronounced him innocent and then found out, oh shit, we cut open a live man.
Yeah.
Oops. But he leaves
So he goes to his old house where his mom used to live.
and it's
there's-
all cobwebs now.
And he starts to live there. And then he takes out the talisman again and tries some more psychic shit.
Yep.
Now we get a scene of someone's the doctor stab.
No, not yet. So I just want to mention first. He sits down. He finds these letters on the mom's bed, and he sees that the letters he was sending from the prison,
Or confiscated.
they were censored.
Yeah, they're censored so that he can't tell his mom exactly what's going on.
So it's basically half the words are censored, and he reads them and breaks down crying. And then he sits down in this. Let's call it the psychic chair.
He has a hallucination of a doctor
Stabbing a woman.
stabbing a woman.
It's his mom. And then he starts doing the psychic shit. And
he
we
goes
see
into his trance, and then we see an old man,
bringing a younger woman.
a younger married woman,
Yes.
to a cabin.
He brings her to the cabin and is like, oh, what the fuck does he say?
He's like, "Get the fire started, and I'll go grab us some drinks."
No, he says something like, come on in, I don't bite. Unless you want me to.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Now this guy's the suavest
Listen,
fucking old motherfucker I've ever seen in my entire
every
life.
fucking thing he says is like
It is like silk.
coded.
Yeah.
Okay, but I assure
He
you,
doesn't even touch the record player and it starts playing.
that's the best part. He doesn't even touch the record player, but it starts playing some porno funk music. But the best part is when he starts. It gets better. Let's put it that way. So he goes to make a drink. She starts the fire, and she's like, oh shit, I left my ring on. So she takes off her
puts
ring,
it in her purse.
puts it in her purse. That guy comes back in. He sits her on the couch, and starts.
Like unbuttoning her blouse.
He's unbuttoning her blouse while psychoanalyzing her.
Psychoanalyzing her.
About how she has a daddy issue, like a daddy complex. And she's attracted to him because he reminds her of her daddy.
Yep.
That's what he tells her. It's
He like
great.
buttons her blouse, takes off her shirt and like
He's on his knees.
her jacket, unclasps her bra.
And is like, beautiful. You should not be like, what does he say? He's like, a beauty like you should not be hidden. You should be admired.
Yeah,
and
I
she's
mean,
like, oh, I
and
love
he
you.
takes off her skirt and all that stuff. She's completely naked, and he still has all his clothes on.
Great. He never takes his clothes off.
Now,
It's great.
this is even better because he like lays her down on a rug in front of the fireplace.
Starts macking, and then
And
suddenly
then just starts taking off his suit and starts hearing.
he starts hearing himself, essentially.
It's basically he hears himself telling, like, what he told every girl that
Yeah.
he lured there.
Yep.
So this guy's a total sleazebag. He's
Yep.
just,
Because
he lures like young married women to this cabin and just fucks them.
And he starts hearing the same lines over and over that he uses on the girls.
Yeah.
And he's like freaking out, and he's like, do you think this is funny? Do you think this is a joke? And she's like, what are you talking about? I don't hear anything. She's not hearing anything. He's just freaking the fuck out. He grabs a gun, runs out, starts looking for whoever the fuck is doing this. And like he's the sound's getting closer and closer.
He goes into the woods and like he aims his gun and fires.
And the next shot is just him on the ground, dead.
And she finds him.
Next shot
Is her being interrogated.
boom. She's wearing. She's like completely naked. She just put like a jacket over. She's in that same jacket, all strapped up to like a polygraph, and they're just asking her, where was he? Where were you? Were you on the ground?
And this is where we meet the three main detectives of the
the
story. We get kind of a bigger, larger cop.
Who just doesn't give a shit. He's just there for the paycheck.
A crackshot lieutenant.
He's the one who wants to get shit solved.
Yep. And then the younger, like, rookie detective.
Yeah.
That is like he kind of is like a womanizer and like,
oh god,
like he's kind of new and wet behind the ears still.
He's great. My favorite. Yeah, we meet these guys and they're interrogating her, and they're just like the older, like bigger guy is just like, where's your husband, huh? Where's your husband during all this? And she doesn't know anything.
And she's still in just a trench coat, like completely naked under the trench coat.
Yeah, it's great. She doesn't know anything, so they release her because they see that she has no clue what the hell happened.
And then it goes to Arnold going into another state, and he hallucinates that the nurse that took care of his mom, he hallucinates that she like shoved his mom off a fucking cliff on a gurney, like just rolls her off a cliff on a gurney.
Beauty.
Now I don't know if she actually did it. It never actually reveals that.
I don't know either, but I'm
my
so
God.
glad this shot is in the movie.
It is insane.
It gets better.
Yep.
Because then we cut to that nurse.
Here's the sexy nurse. Hello, nurse.
Listen, this is ludicrous. I love this scene.
It's great.
There is this dude in a bed. He looks like he is.
I think he's paralyzed, or just can't move. I don't know.
He's so old that he's like on the verge of death. But she's like, and I guess she's like a, what do you call it, like a home care nurse?
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's different.
She leans over and like starts like putting a needle in his arm, and it shows his catheter for some reason, and then he's looking down her shirt, and she's like, "Oh, you getting those nasty thoughts?"
You're getting those bad
And
thoughts,
she's like, "Oh,
honey.
it's hot in here," and she like unbuttons.
She's like, this. I don't know why they make me wear this. This uniform is so tight. And she starts.
And as you dry it more, it gets tighter and tighter.
And the guy's just like,
And she unbuttons her blouse and like shows off her bra and like gropes herself and stuff. And he's like,
I just say the fucking look on the guy's face.
just as like wide-eyed, like eyebrows raised, like
it's so great. And then she takes,
like you could tell this dude's horny as
my favorite
fuck.
is, and then she's like, now don't get any weird thoughts. I'm just unbuttoning this because it's so tight. And then there's like, convenient. There's a little bottle of lotion, and she just like smacks it, just like some lotion on her hand, and just like starts rubbing it on her leg right in front of him.
And I love it 'cause she only rubs one leg, and then she like teases him more by like getting more undressed, and then
Oh yeah, she's like, well, you just hang in there, okay?
I'm
gonna go take a shower.
And she like undresses into like
In front of him.
her underwear and her
Starts
bra.
dancing.
And starts
Oh,
dancing.
no! She takes a little, like, cassette player,
Oh yeah, and
turns
just,
it
like,
on, and starts dancing.
Starts dancing to the music that's playing on the radio.
It's great!
While this guy's like, bird. It's fucking awesome. So she goes
This scene is
into
so
the
great.
living room and dances around while taking off more clothes.
This scene is so great. It's so out of
And
nowhere.
then she goes into the bathroom, takes off her bra, and gets in the shower.
Yeah. And then starts showering, and we see, like, a presence going into the bathroom.
Like it's like a close up of the door, but you can tell it's like moving.
It's like
a
first
presence.
person, yeah. But there's like the camera's all wavy, and it goes in.
So she's washing herself, and then the water gets hot, so she jumps away, and she tries to turn on the cold, and like
Yeah.
feels for it, and then like gets back under the shower and starts enjoying herself more. Then the presence gets into the bathroom,
And
the like the faucet starts, the like shower head starts turning in the.
he starts controlling the shower head. And turns the
And then he
water
turns
to like
the hot,
boiling.
like way hot.
Like it's boiling. And starts like pointing it at her. And she can't get out. Like she can't unlock the shower door.
And she starts burning to death, and you can tell by all the smoke in the room, and
Yeah.
like it shows her scalding and stuff.
Yeah. And she just eventually like breaks through the glass door, and she's just covered in blood. And that's it.
Because all the glass cuts her.
Yeah.
So then and then immediately the detectives are at the crime scene.
And then one of them was like, apparently she can't open the goddamn door, so she burned to death in the goddamn shower.
Well, and like the other guy's like, oh, she did like she got first degree burns, which I will remind you, while they're the most painful, they're not the worst burns.
They're not the
you can
worst. Yeah.
get. I don't know if could you die from? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know if you can die from first degree burns. I thought it was like third degree burns, but whatever.
Probably that in combination with the fact that she like sliced herself up.
Yeah.
But they're like trying to figure out, and they can't figure out what the hell's happening.
Well, because they also were like, well, what about the patient she was taking care of? He's like, well, he went into a coma.
He
Like
went into a coma immediately after.
it's because all the blood rushed from his head down to somewhere else, and he went into a fucking coma. He used the last of his like head
The
blood
last of his remaining blood.
to get a boner.
Poor old fart. He didn't even need Viagra.
Nope.
That's all he needed.
So then they tell the one detective to go back and see if there's any connections, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's driving and he's talking to girls on on his like police radio. This is your favorite detective because he macks on girls
Also,
on a
like,
fucking police
Also,
radio.
it's worth mentioning that before, like when they're telling him to go like investigate more, he's just like, "Oh, come on, do I have to? I'm really tired." And the guy's like, "Maybe if you like," he's like, "Maybe if you slept all night instead of like sleeping with married women, you'd be able to do some goddamn police work."
And it's funny because the next scene is him talking to women on a police radio, scanner radio.
I love this scene so much. He's just talking to this woman, and she's like, "Well, you promised me dinner tonight." He's like, "Oh yeah, well I don't know, I'm gonna be busy."
Well, the old man said that I need to go do this and all that.
And she's like,
stuff.
"Oh, I bet you're with another woman." He's like, "Yeah, I wish," and then just hangs up on her. And then immediately one of the policemen comes in. He's like, "Could you stop using the police radio?"
Did you stop using the police radio for fucking indistinct chatter with women? I fucking love it. I love how they addressed that. They had to. It's like I love how they didn't leave that stone unturned.
Yeah, it's great. And then like he drives past the house with the psychic killer, and he's there, and he starts fucking with him.
Yep.
So they're driving. He's driving, and
another cop.
Of course, because this dude doesn't give a shit. He's speeding. Another cop sees him speeding and tries to pull him over, and the guy's like, "Oh, he's gonna regret like pulling me over when he finds out who I am."
Yep.
And then he starts hitting the brakes, and the brakes aren't working.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
So he tries to press the brakes, and then it starts accelerating more. But he tries to
freaking the fuck out.
He tries to pull on like the gas pedal, and so he leans out the window and like tries to start hailing down the cop.
He's like,
and the cop's
"Help!
Like, slow down!" And he's like, "Help! Help! I can't!"
He's like, "Pull over!" And he's like, "I can't do anything. Help me!" And then he like sideswipes the guy and the cop on the bike, and he like flips over, goes on top of the mountain, and there's a shot where he's like freaking out, and then you in the back seat you see the psychic killer Arnold. Yeah, Arnold Masters.
And
he looks back. There's nothing there, but
then he looks in the mirror and sees Arnold.
And
again.
He's still there in the mirror, and he's just freaking out. And the car is like spinning around.
And then it goes off a ditch mound and off a fucking cliff.
And just drops straight down. And it just immediately cuts to the other detective being like, "I have 3 dead bodies on my hands." Like,
yeah, I know. I love how they do. They just trim the fat because they just go immediately to the investigation.
It's great. And he's like, "I have 3 dead bodies. I don't know what the hell's going on." And then the older guy's just like, "Well, what do you think? There's like a conspiracy here?"
Well, he's like, "Calm down and like have a cup of coffee." I'm like, why is this guy so fucking calm?
He's just there for a paycheck.
Yeah,
he just wants his paycheck. He doesn't want any shenanigans.
So the guy's like, "Well, like let's look into like connections and stuff." Like, and then they mention that the detective that just died prosecuted
Arnold
Masters. Like he took him in,
and they know about that case. And then they look and see that
that the nurse was like
not the nurse.
Oh no, the doctor.
So the doctor that he killed earlier was the one who had him committed.
Was the psychiatric doctor
who examined him and had him committed. And then they were like, "Okay, I want you to find out if the nurse had anything to do with it."
And then the detective's like, the lieutenant's like, "I'm gonna go talk to Arnold Masters myself."
He goes, talks to him, and they have a conversation, and it turns very confrontational.
Very tense, yes.
Because immediately he's just like mentioning that, I have these 3 people who are died, and all of them, coincidentally,
are connected to you.
And he's just like, well, maybe justice found its way to them.
He's like, "I don't know how you're doing it, but I'm gonna figure it out."
And he says like all this stuff and tells him like, well, maybe that cop shouldn't have been speeding, and he wouldn't have died. And then when he's leaving, he's just like, by the way, the news report didn't mention anything about him speeding.
It mentioned that he got into a car accident.
Yeah. So he knows. He knows something's up, but no one knows what.
So he knows something's up so much that he starts just full-fledged investigating Arnold Masters. Tailing him.
Yep.
Like,
they bring
watching his house.
So they bring in the doctor from the hospital who was helping
Arnold's doctor.
Yeah, who was helping him. They bring her in, and she's not playing along. She's not convinced. She thinks they're harassing him,
right?
By constantly monitoring
unjustly,
him.
Watching him, and like it's an invasion of privacy. And so they're watching him from like a safe house, and they have this like telescope that looks into his room,
and they're watching him, and he just sits down and falls asleep. Also, before this, they were just watching him like go to a store and buy food. Because one of the guys like tails him into the store, and there's like, what did you see? He's like, he just went in there and bought a lamb for his cat,
and then complained about the high
prices of meat.
Which will come into effect later.
Message. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's the same butcher shop.
It is.
It's the same butcher shop.
It's the same butcher too.
Yep.
So
high prices of meat. So he goes and complains, and I this was a point that I said that there's like some there's some weird tension between the doctor and the cop, and I was like, are they gonna fuck? Because I would not put it past this movie, and we'll get to that. But there's some tension here.
Yeah, because they keep she keeps arguing they're not right to follow.
They keep they start ribbing each other, essentially.
Yeah, like teasing each other.
Yeah.
Like mild teasing.
And then it gets more, like flirtatious almost.
So they're watching Arnold Masters, and he goes into his little dream-like state again.
And he sees
a lawyer
doing something. What was he doing?
I can't remember.
He was doing something silly. And then it goes
to the shadiest fucking...
This character is so sleazy. He is... The first image we have of him is in his car with this goofy mustache and his hair slicked back. And he's on the phone yelling at somebody about making some sort of corrupt deal.
Yeah, he's like...
That's how we introduce this
He's
character.
like a shady, greasy lawyer that got Arnold Masters prosecuted.
That's how we introduce him. And we find out that he's talking about this office of his.
He's got to go to the office because no one ever listens to him, and
no one listens to his instructions.
He's got to do things himself.
So he goes there, and we see that the office is under construction. And right when he gets there, the camera pans up to the crane.
Foreshadowing.
And at that point, you just know something's going to happen.
Well, I love it because the lawyer starts recording this thing where he's complaining. Well, I need to tell them that they need to do this, and
I told them I wanted classical Roman font, and what did they give me? New Roman font.
Beverly Hills Roman.
Yeah, he's complaining about the font on the thing.
On the cornerstone. Now keep in mind, this cornerstone has his name on it, and the year got established.
The name of the business. It has that on it, and he starts recording all of his complaints.
And he goes around the whole site complaining about
carpet
everything.
Changed. He wants this changed.
And then he starts he's like, oh, I'm so excited about this. And he starts singing Italian opera music while the crane slowly starts going towards this cornerstone.
And, first we didn't know what it was going to do.
And, hooks a rope.
You thought it was going to pick him up.
Yeah, and drop him.
But no, it picks up the cornerstone, lifts it up,
and then follows him while he's dancing and singing around.
And he keeps... And eventually it starts playing the music with him singing opera.
While this cornerstone is following him above head. And then it was at this exact point where I'm like, how does anyone hate this movie?
This is so great.
This is the most ridiculous murder scene I've ever seen, and it's beautiful.
I love this so much.
It is goddamn amazing. It is the most entertaining death I've ever seen in my entire life.
I love this scene. I unironically love this scene. And he's walking and singing opera, and then right when it's the climax of the opera.
Yeah, he's singing high, just as loud as he can, and then it drops the cornerstone.
And it drops. And his legs and hands are spread out,
and the camera even shakes. And then you see his arms and legs coming out from the cornerstone, and the recording is still going. Oh, it's great.
When they, Oh yeah, they send the cop sends the doctor to talk to Masters.
Arnold, yeah.
And she starts talking to him, and she asks him immediately about the medallion that he's wearing. She's like, didn't the prisoner give you that? What is it?
And he's like, it's mine now. It's none of your concern.
And he doesn't want to talk about it. And then immediately, 2 minutes into this...
The lieutenant comes in.
He's like, we have to go. There is an emergency. And then the Arnold Masters is like, I bet there is. Because he knows. He knows. And...
Well, yeah, because he's the one that killed him.
Yeah. He's just, pissing him off. And... My favorite though is when they leave and the cop is just freaking out. He's like, "Did you see that? Did you see that stupid grin on his face?"
Yeah, he's like, "I know he did something. I know he did something."
And she's like, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What happened?" He's like, "Come on, I'll show you." And then the next scene is just
playing the recording of him singing, and then the cornerstone. You hear the cornerstone drop on him, and it's just.
And then it's just a close-up of the tape recorder.
And he pauses it.
And he pauses it immediately after the thing crushes him. And it's just and he's just an unattended crane, dropped a cornerstone on the lawyer.
With no one there.
Yeah. She's she's like, well, this makes no sense. Doesn't make any sense. And they, it's not making sense. But what does make sense is that
the lieutenant asks the doctor on a date.
He's like, "What if you come over to my place?"
He's like, "Why don't we do dinner at my place?"
And then it just cuts, and they've had dinner,
and they're drinking wine,
and they're talking about and how he had a family, and he's divorced now, and she's from a small town, and she
like left, and he went to like pursue being a cop. And, like, he came back too late, and she was already, like, remarried.
So his wife was remarried. And they're talking, and they're going over their backstories. And then eventually she's just like, you know what? Let's go to bed.
She's like, why don't you finish up here, and I'll go get ready.
I'll be in bed waiting.
Whenever you're done. And he's like, I'm done. My man.
Listen,
that is the best.
That is the business.
When a woman...
Why would
proposes that? Why would you ever just be like, yeah, I'm gonna finish this and then I'll go?
Yeah, he's just like, well, I'm done.
Yeah, he's just like, okay, I'm done. I'm finished.
Yeah,
even if he wasn't finished, you know he was gonna say that.
Of course, if you're smart, you're gonna say, yeah, I'm done. And they sleep together, which of course this movie went there.
And she gets out of bed to get a glass of water,
and she hears a voice.
Goes into the kitchen and hears a voice and sees like half of the face of
Arnold. I like the way this scene is shot, because it's just shot in shadow, so it's a close up of Arnold's face and half of his face is in shadow.
She kind of gasps and drops the
it's
glass.
a close up of her face and half of her face is in shadow. And they start talking. He's like, "How could you do this?
Like,
you were my only friend.
You were the only one I trusted in the asylum.
I saw you make love to him." And he's just freaking the fuck out and like threatening her.
Well, and she's trying to explain herself and like trying to like say that like she can still help him and all this stuff.
Or that she wants to help him.
And then the lieutenant comes in and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, what the fuck is going on? And she's like, I saw him clear as day. I have all this training.
Yeah.
Like, I know what I saw.
They went because they immediately go and look at They go back to the stakeout where the other cop is looking at him and they're like, he's like, he's been here the whole time. He's been asleep the whole time. And she's like, I saw him. I'm like, I'm not insane. I'm a professional doctor. I've been examined by the best psychiatrists. I know I saw him.
So she's like, okay, I have someone who might be willing to help, but it's kind of a drive. So they go to see this professor at a university, and he's like...
showing pictures.
He's studying, like, auras.
Yeah, and how...
like, different energies and stuff like that.
Energy that you can project.
And then, like, unpredictable or unexplained energy as well.
And he has these pictures of, like, these auras around people. And that's... you find out that that's the stuff we were seeing in the opening credits. Is these, like, pictures. And he's doing this... and he's showing, like... and he has, like, a photograph of these hands with, like, this, like, bright stuff around it.
He's like, oh, these two are very compatible.
He's like, I see there's a lot of energy with you two. You're very compatible.
And they turn on the lights,
and it's the
two, like the doctor and the lieutenant.
Yeah. He's like, so at the very least, if nothing else works, I guess we got a good dating service.
Then he tries to explain how, like, they're trying to see if people can, like, project themselves through energy to, like, become somewhere else to take control of something, like...
and that would explain how Arnold Masters how these things are happening.
And he's like, how do you put this in layman's terms? He's like, have you ever, like, sworn you saw something and then, like, didn't, and then saw it again? Or, like, you know, like, you unexplained phenomena.
Or you think of somebody, or, like, you think of somebody that you miss, a loved one or something that you haven't seen in a long time, and then the next day...
a phone call arrives.
A phone call or a letter.
Or then, like, or pained for the suffering of a loved one, and then you get, like, a letter the next day.
That something happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, things like that.
Yeah.
It's not... it's not the worst explanation I've ever heard in one of these movies.
Definitely not in the movies we've watched. No, hell no.
Definitely
not. Not even by the slightest.
So they take him to go look at him.
And he's in his trance state.
And so they kind of just bust in and they start investigating him. And they see that he's not breathing. There's no pulse. Nothing. The doctor even stabs his hand.
Something through his hand and pulls it all the way through the end of his hand.
And
nothing happens.
So he's like clinically dead. But
he's going to kill again.
Going on. Because we see the butcher
So we see a woman trying to buy meat,
talking about how, like,
and the butcher's like trying to swindle her
he's
because
being cheap.
yeah, because she's paying with like food stamps.
Yeah.
So he's
And
putting
she's
her
just like,
hand.
she's like, well, what do you expect? Like, the idiot the idiot president, like, dropped the amount of food stamps. She's like, well, I didn't vote for him.
And he's like, neither did I. And she's like,
He's
yeah,
like,
you
I know
did.
you did. You're just telling me you didn't.
And he's like putting his hand on the scale
To
and
bullshit her.
and then like cutting her only cuts of meat,
Well, it's
of fat. Sorry.
yeah. And
It's
she's
only
just like,
fat.
where's the meat? You just gave me like all like the fat. He's like, well, carbs are good for you.
Yeah, he's like just an asshole butcher.
Yeah.
And he's the one that the meat prices are too high, and he's like,
By
he's
the
like,
way,
that'll be this much.
right before we cut to the asshole butcher, we got another one of those wacky flashbacks. And it's literally just like the mom laying there, and then the butcher just like chopping something and being like, too high, too high.
Yeah.
So like, did he just wrong the mom by being a dick? And
Well, I
charging
mean, he is a dick.
high
so
meat prices?
Sure. He's an asshole.
Sure.
Okay.
So he bitches out the customer and tells her, don't ever come here again. And closes the shop.
He goes into the back and starts putting all the meat stuff away. And then, like, one of the, like, half cows,
Yeah.
like, comes towards him and, like, knocks him into the meat grinder. And, like, his hand goes into the meat grinder and grinds up his hand. And then he, like, falls down and, like, a bandsaw starts coming towards his head. And it doesn't show it, but,
you know what happened.
he got decapitated.
We also see, like, bloody meat coming out of the meat grinder,
Yeah.
by the way.
Like, really gory, bloody meat.
Yeah. So he gets fucked, to put it mildly. And then,
So then Arnold wakes
wakes
up
up.
out of his state.
it's like, what the hell are you guys doing here?
And then he's like, oh, like, we're just, like, here to help. We saw you in the state and whatever. And then the guy's like, well, Arnold's like, well, Lieutenant, you should go check out the butcher shop. I've heard they have fresh cuts of meat.
So they go to the butcher shop.
Totally threatens the guy, like, right there.
Well, he also
He also,
threatens him.
he also says, like, oh, and by the way, I'll find you when you're alone.
He's like, don't worry, I'll see you again when you're alone. Like, basically threatening the cop. And, they go to the butcher shop.
This scene was actually kind of creepy.
This was well done. Because they go in there, they go to the back, and they're, like, yelling for this guy. And you hear, like, this, like, creaking noise.
So they turn on the conveyor belt, and you just see something in the distance, right? Like, floating towards them.
And they're, like, pointing the guns at it. They're, like, afraid of what's going to come out.
And
then
that's like this, like, mangled, disfigured,
it's
like,
like the guy
body. He's, like, hanging upside
down. Like, you can see his head's cut off.
But his, like, his limbs are all disfigured, and, like,
Yeah.
one of the legs is, like, the wrong way.
It's like...
And he's, like, this bloody white bag.
It's creepy.
It is really creepy.
It's a creepy shot.
It kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies.
No, it's a creepy image. Like,
Because it, like, comes from a very dark background.
and the fact that, like,
and then
yeah,
it's, like, swaying slightly.
and and there's, like, no music. It's just creaking. But the image of, like, his limbs being so, like, twisted,
It's, like, distorted
creepy.
and mangled, yeah.
it's creepy. And they're just, like, horrified.
Well, I mean, I would be too
Yeah,
if I
understandable.
saw that shit. Holy shit.
And then they're just... The cop is thinking, like, what the hell are we going to do? Like, is he just going to keep murdering people?
He's
And
like,
the professor, he wants to try to control him. Because this is, like, a big deal.
right, because he's one of the first ones that they know
Yeah.
can project himself.
And he also wants to help him because he knows that, like, essentially, he can't control this.
But the lieutenant's like, nah, fuck that. He's killing people.
like-
I'm going to go take care of business.
He's like, wait a minute. We said earlier that he is clinically dead when he does this, correct?
Yeah.
And the professor's like, yes. He's like, okay, see you later.
He goes to take care of business.
So they're like, wait a minute. Oh shit, he's gonna do something, isn't he? We have to try to stop him. And then he goes there,
It
With-
finds him in his, like,
brings a doctor.
he's in his, like, mental state. And the doctor declares him dead.
He's like, yeah, he's dead.
And they do a rush cremation. Like, well, they're gonna fucking, like, destroy him.
Yeah.
While he's in this state, while he's clinically dead.
Yeah.
So the doctors try and stop him.
And then
they're
he's like, no, I have to do this alone. He's like, do you understand what you're doing? He's like, yeah, I'm judge, jury, and executioner. Just, like, I don't
He's
want
like-
you involved.
He's like, butt out of it, because I'll feel bad if you're
Oh, no,
involved.
she's like, why don't you want us involved? He's like, I'll feel better if you're not.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
True.
That's fair.
So they take him there to the crematorium, while the two doctors they go to the house because they see that he's not wearing the medallion.
Right.
The body isn't. And they go back to the house to try to find it.
And like one of the doctors is looking, and like he opens a door and tells the other doctor to go look in like
the other side of the house.
So she goes and finds Arnold's like kid room.
Yeah.
And then she goes back and looks into.
And the whole time it's cutting back and forth between this and them loading his body onto a like
in a crematorium, like going
into a wooden coffin, and about to shove him into a cremation.
It is the fastest cremation I've ever seen.
It's great. It's efficient.
Yeah. They want him dead now.
He wants,
but like
that
you can
bitch.
you can tell the detectives like did a rush job because they want his body disposed of.
They want it gone, and they keep doing this, and eventually, she hears the other doctor yelling her name, like, "Come here." She goes into this room and she sees him. He's dead.
And then she turns around and Arnold's there.
And now he's like
disfigured, and he kind of has like this weird scars all over him, and
he looks like a zombie.
Yeah, and he's like he shouldn't have come into this room, and like he like
I made this room perfect for her, and he ruined it. And then he's like, she said, "We can help you. We can help you." He's like, everything. He says, "Everything I love dies," and so you can tell that he's about to
kill her.
He's about to kill her.
But then the flames get to him, and he starts freaking
choking
out. Yeah, he opens the window to try and get some air,
and he can't.
But then he wakes up in the coffin, and he burns alive.
Yeah, and he like drops the medallion, and then he wakes up because he's like freaking out, wondering what the hell is happening.
Yeah, and then he wakes up in the coffin, and he literally
burns alive.
The detectives are standing just outside the cremation like area, and he's screaming while being burned alive.
Beautiful. Beautiful. He burns the fuck alive. We just see a shot of the ashes in the cremation chamber, and then the last shot of the movie.
So she looks down where he dropped the medallion and doesn't see it. She's looking out the window, and then I'll let you explain the last shot of the movie.
It's pure art. The last shot of the movie is the cat playing with the medallion, and it does a freeze frame. You know what that means? Psychic Killer 2.
The cat?
Pussycat. Yeah.
That would be fucking epic.
That would be fucking epic.
That would be epic. A cat that goes into like psychic states and can fucking fuck shit up. Some cats are sadistic, so I would guess a cat could do some serious harm.
Listen, sadly, there is not a sequel to this.
No, I wish there was.
But this is fucking great.
I loved this movie.
This movie's great. You like halfway through it, you said that it felt like a Coen Brothers movie.
Like the characters kind of remind me
in terms of how like the minor characters really they stand out.
Well, they're kind of like. It's like kind of like Coen Brothers kind of comedy-esque, where it's like that very satirical, like Odd Job kind of like comedy, where the actors just act kind of like just slightly like cartoon characters.
Yeah.
Like they're just kind of goofy in like weird ways, but like very quirky and kind of dark ways. Mm-hmm. So you like got the nurse that like gets off on like making her sick patients
her elderly
horny,
patients.
And like uses their shower and like. It makes them all like turned on and shit.
Yeah.
Then you got the doctor that like lures like these young impressionable married women
and then psychoanalyzes them about how they have daddy issues.
Basically manipulates them into having sex with him, and then like it's just like the cast of like the other the asshole butcher that like
fucking tries to rip people off
by like balancing the scales and shit and that.
The cop who uses his police radio to hit on to do his fucking dates. It's great.
Like the characters, like they just kind of remind me of those quirky, like slightly off people that like do dark deeds, but like are like just it's kind of like comedic, and I liked it.
It's memorable. Yeah,
it's like kind of like hate it or like it, but like Brad Pitt's character in Burn After Reading.
I love Burn After Reading. So
like that character alone reminded me of like the characters.
This is right up, yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is right up my alley. I love this movie.
I thought it was great. Like, my final thoughts are, like, I would recommend this movie. Like, it's actually pretty good. It's well shot. The acting's not terrible.
It's very well shot.
Like, for, like, a 70s movie and a 70s B movie, you could do a fuck of a lot worse.
You could.
And, like, the concept is there. I think they could have done a little better with some of the themes. Like, they could have done, like, the fugue state better, and they could have done, like, the deaths better. But I kind of liked how they did, like, the more comedic deaths.
No, the...
Like, the sleazebag lawyer that, like, you know, rides around in a car that's
Yelling
off to
at
his
people.
office, yelling at people.
On his phone. His
And he
car
gets
phone.
killed by his own cornerstone.
Yeah, that he
Like,
complained
while
about.
singing Italian opera. Like, you can't... I've never seen a death like that.
No, I love it.
It's great. And that's, I think, what made this... I think this movie has a lot of charm.
It does.
Like, it has a lot of charm for a B movie, and you don't see that very often. Like, you see, like, these hack
Not anymore.
No. You see these hack directors trying to make this, like, a cash grab, but it looked like they, like, at least with this film, they were trying to make something, and you could tell they put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I think it was pretty well thought out, and I think it's pretty effective in being at least a very entertaining movie. Like, I liked it.
I dig it.
So what are your final thoughts on the film?
I love this movie. I don't have many complaints at all. I really don't. It's charming. It's entertaining. It's well shot. I mean,
I would say almost unique in a way.
it is unique. It's well written. It's funny. Like it's genuinely funny.
Yeah.
Not like unintentionally. It's intentionally funny. It's not embarrassing. I mean, things make sense. And the characters are memorable. I don't know.
Like, I would go as far as to say as I would probably own this movie and show it to people who
I've seen I've seen modern, like, you know, mainstream A level horror movies that are a billion times worse than this.
Yeah.
A billion times worse.
Dude, hell yeah.
Like, this, I'm pretty sure this thing has a lower rating than, like, absolute garbage, like Ouija.
Oh, God.
Like, guarantee you.
I know.
And, like, because even then we did mention, like, yeah, this movie's funny, it's amusing, it's entertaining to watch, but it does have, like, those little moments of creepiness.
Like the butcher shop.
The butcher shop, the part where she sees him in the kitchen. Like, it does have those little moments, and they work. It's not like...
I think this movie is very effective.
Yeah, no jump scares.
Yeah.
It's not ooga booga loud noise.
And it makes sense, which is beautiful
But
in
the
this podcast.
best part is that it's entertaining.
Yeah.
The least you can ask from a fucking movie is that it fucking entertain you.
Like,
And guess what? This thing does.
I would possibly, if someone was like, hey, show me a decent B movie, I would probably show them this.
Yeah.
Because I actually think it is decent.
No, it's good.
I would own this movie, actually.
It rises well above its limitations. Let's put it that way.
I think so. And I think that's a good way to, like, do our final thoughts, because, like, that's exactly what I feel, too.
No, I dig it.
I think it's good.
I think everyone should watch this.
I would highly recommend this movie.
Yeah, I think all of you should watch this.
If you have Amazon Prime, it is on Prime.
Yeah,
and it's actually a really good remaster, which is weird.
It's a great remaster. It looks fucking beautiful.
It's like 1080p, which is interesting.
It's colorful.
I didn't expect that, but
solid. Like, I think everyone should watch this.
Yeah, I would recommend it.
You'll be a better person if you watch this movie.
You will be at the very least, you'll be thoroughly entertained because it's great.
Because it's not as weird for me and Will, because we do enjoy these movies.
Yeah.
So we're not strangers to 70s B movies.
Oh, God, no.
There's a lot of these movies that I fucking love.
Dude, I'm a huge fan of blaxploitation.
Yeah.
I've been through some shit.
We love these. Like, we love this genre.
It's our bread and butter.
So I think that for someone who's not watched any of these movies, I think this would also be entertaining.
I think it'd be a good place to start, too, because it's not a bad B movie.
Because when you talk about 70s B movies and how weird they were, and, like, how different they were, I think this is a good, like, starting point.
Yeah.
Because you think it's a movie about a psychic killer. Pretty straightforward.
You don't
Right.
want to start with Darktown Strutters.
Fuck no. Just watch this and Mean Johnny Barrows,
Yep, that's all you need to watch.
and you're set.
Yep, for 1974 at least.
Yeah,
Or 75.
75.
Excuse me.
Throw in a sprinkling of, if you dare, throw in a sprinkling of Black Fist from 1970.
Oh, Jesus.
You'll know insanity. But yeah, this is solid. It's a solid B movie. It reminds me of why I enjoy these movies.
Yeah, same.
It's just
It's kind of a breath of fresh air, to be honest.
it reminds me of why I enjoy these movies in the first place.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I don't have any complaints about it. I really don't.
I don't either.
I mean, I could probably nitpick it if I wanted to, but why? It's a B movie. You don't need to.
Yeah, just go and enjoy it. Just turn your brain off, grab a couple friends, grab some beer, and enjoy this movie.
Listen to me. I can guarantee you'll enjoy this more than whatever fucking garbage dump, like garbage pile horror movies you've been watching recently.
Oh, yeah.
I can fucking guarantee you.
Dude, no doubt.
Someone tells you, hey, you want to watch, I don't know.
Ouija?
Yeah.
The Origin of Evil?
Watch Ouija 5.
Or how about the new Paranormal Activity?
You want to watch The Nun?
What about the new Paranormal Activity?
No, they stopped making those.
I know,
After
thank
like
God.
the 20th one.
I know.
They finally stopped. Yeah, you want to watch The Nun?
Be like, nah, my friends that they mostly come at night, Will and Alex, suggested that we watch The Psychic Killer. And
okay, that
sounds
interesting.
and you'll have a great time.
You will.
I guarantee it.
Like, legitimately. I'm sorry. At the very least, absolute minimum, a movie should entertain you.
And this is damn
I'm
entertaining.
sorry. This succeeds.
It is damn entertaining.
This fucking works. I don't know what happened, what lightning in a bottle magic was captured when they made this insanity, but it all fucking worked.
So go watch Psychic Killer.
Bring your family.
I hope you guys had a great holiday, and New Year's is around the corner. We're almost at a year mark.
We are.
That's crazy. The 11th, I think, is our year mark.
We're getting there.
January 11th. Damn.
You know what that means, though? New month. New live stream.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Aren't you excited?
No.
Oh, baby.
My Steam library is filling up with all these shit games.
Good.
I need to start deleting them.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I don't
know
want
why
you
I
want to get
haven't.
mixed up. Why would you?
I still have Rogue Warrior on there.
Fuck off. Suck my balls.
What if I want to...
What?
What if I want to finish it?
No, you won't.
What a
What?
fucking goat fuck.
Fucking fuck.
Fucking goat fuck. Fucking pygmy fucking...
Bitch fuck. And just run up to people.
Yeah, stealth. I'm using air quotes there. Stealth.
Fucking run up and just at the top of your lungs. Fucking bitch fuck.
And don't worry, this time we will have the audio figured out.
Will we?
Also, an exciting announcement. At least I think it's really exciting. I haven't posted it yet, but we have a new logo and a new official logo. We have official artwork now. Yes, it was done by my sister, but she's a really good artist, so that'll be posted soon. I'll also post her artwork as well, so guys can go check out more of that. Just a little plug there.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I am excited because we officially have official artwork. Like, not that mine was the worst, but it's definitely not this quality. So
Shit's getting real.
I'm super excited to have a new logo, especially going into our new year, our next year. And there's big things ahead. I think we got some big things planned for next year.
Do we?
I'm excited.
I'm not.
No,
We're gonna die.
we might. This might kill us, but we're gonna.
Well, we
do
do
it
have
anyway.
one thing planned that I think might actually kill me, but I think you know
Oh yeah,
a certain
we're
person.
not going to reveal that yet.
No,
though.
we're not. We're not gonna. I'm not even
That's
gonna
a
mention it.
secret.
We're not even gonna mention it until it happens.
Yeah,
But I'm just saying
because no one will know until it happens.
it might kill me.
It might
Because-
kill me too.
I there's very. I have so much hate.
As we get closer to the event, I will start teasing it.
Will
But
we?
I'll start teasing it a little bit, but I'm not going to make it obvious.
You know what you can do to tease it? You can record like yourself shitting, like taking a shit,
Yeah.
and just be like, "Hey, here's a teaser of what we got planned." Because I think it personifies the thing, that supposed human being.
What about starting a GoFundMe page?
Well, okay, but we could do that. But see, here's the thing: is our GoFundMe page would actually go to something good.
Yeah, that's true.
Even if it's just
Like charity or
even
something.
if it's just like, hey, how about a GoFundMe so that Alex can buy toilet paper?
Yeah.
At least you know that it's a good cause.
At least you know Alex is
It means
getting toilet paper.
I'm getting toilet paper. It means, when I went to the grocery store, they got $5 from me that supports business. So it's good things. It's useful as opposed to someone.
But that won't be for a while, so stay tuned for that.
Be ready.
But be ready, because we got big things planned. I'm excited for next year. I know it's not here yet, and I know we got one more episode before the new year starts. But I could not be more excited for this podcast, and I really, really appreciate our fan base. Like, we've been growing by the day, which is insane.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like super stoked to keep going with this and see where this takes us. Like, see what this podcast can become.
I don't know why you're all here, but thank you.
Thank you guys. I really mean it. Like, even if there was just one of you, but there's like quite a bit of you, which is exciting that we actually have a community. It's really cool. And
Shocking.
So thank you guys so much for listening. Like, we really appreciate it. And we are new and we're still figuring things out, but we are glad you guys are along for the ride.
No, we're pros.
Yeah, we're professionals at this.
We are.
Totally.
We
didn't just get a computer and a microphone and start recording.
We have a studio.
It's not a
Yes,
room.
it is.
It's not a room in my basement.
It's a
Not
studio.
at all. It's definitely not a room in my basement.
It's a studio, Will. Okay.
We're not just sitting on a futon with a microphone in front of us and a laptop.
It's a studio with recording equipment.
With a sound mixer and microphones.
To be fair,
we have a whole.
there is a sound mixer.
We have a whole. We have a whole staff like waiting in the wings, telling us we have scripts, as you can clearly tell.
Scripts. Nah, bitch.
We're high production.
Scripts?
Okay.
Motherfucker, scripts. Who the what?
We had a professional record our opening, the beer can opening. That was.
It was.
Yeah,
It was recorded by professionals.
Us.
By me and you. That's professional.
Professionalism at its
So
best.
professional that it's just there forever.
Yeah, it just
Okay.
worked out so well that we're just gonna keep using it.
It wasn't planned, Will.
It wasn't.
We did not cynically plan this.
No.
Or did we?
They'll never know.
Yeah, right. You'll never know. You'll never know me. Are you trying to know me? Are you attempting to know me?
Well, anyway, guys, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all the listeners, and we appreciate all you new listeners too.
Yeah.
And if anyone wants to chat with us on Facebook, I'll still open that book. I'm always on there. So come say hello, talk about shitty movies, whatever you want to do. Talk about how much you loved Psychic Killer like we did. Please. I'd love to see this movie get more followers.
More of you need to watch this.
It's great. For they mostly come out at night. This has been Will.
And this has been Alex.
And we will talk to you all later.
Bum 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 bum
Bum, ba, ba.
bum.
Boom.